You're moving.
Dude, I'm keeping up with 20-year-olds, and I feel like there's no slowdown in me.
I am so excited because I've got Brad Tate back in here. It has been, since we started your program, 1,008 hours.
It's been 6 weeks, and you can already see a change. Meeting you and having you help me has changed my life. Sleeping patterns, recovery, and just overall my appearance and how I feel and how my confidence has grown. I was working out, I just wasn't working out properly. I was in the gym, but I wasn't getting the result. And a lot of people feel that way. You're going to the gym, you're working out hours, and you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you're just not feeling anything.
Procrastination is the thief of health.
100%.
Because it is. If you wait and you wait and you wait, too many people wait until the heart attack, the stroke, the diabetes, whatever it may be, people are waiting to make a change. And I think that's what's wrong, honestly, with our overall healthcare system. It's a system based on just emergencies. Nothing is proactive, nothing is preventative. And that's what I love so much even about the implementation of peptides. The greatest athletes in this world all had coaches. They didn't just do it on their own. So think of that provider, that practitioner, that coach as the one that's helping guide you through the success that you ultimately want. And that's what we're doing. All right, guys, I am so excited because I've got Brad Tate back in here. It has been, since we started your program, 1,008 hours since we started this program.
Or 6 weeks.
Or 6 weeks, or a month and a half.
Well, yeah.
You know, I know you're a
Black History
mathematician.
Month
included. So, I mean, what's crazy is we've been going through this, and you know, obviously we've continued the dialogue and your progression in this. I mean, from the last time everybody saw you, you were carrying a lot more of you around.
That's a very nice way to call me fat. I appreciate that. Like, I really appreciate how you guys elegantly put, like, I was obese.
You were. Well,
Yeah.
That's the reason you came to me, man.
100%.
I mean, we're not trying to skirt around it. Tell me, like, when you came again, we had that episode. It was an incredible episode. I think our audience loved it because it's a journey. We're creating a journey here. That was your point of reaching out to me from our good friend John. But just share a little bit about like where you were when we met. I know that but if somebody's new right now listening to this episode and you didn't see like the first episode of like him coming and like what his vision is, the mission that you really want and how you were feeling, share that a little bit.
So again, I got introduced through peptides from a previous source, and it was take this, and this. And I really didn't do any research. I still didn't know what I was doing. So my friend John put me in touch with you, and it was 100% different from this is why you're taking this. So you're very informative about that. But like I told you, I basically sought you out for several reasons. One, quality of health, and then ego, and then, you know, vanity. And you definitely have to have all three of those in check. But like for me, you know, being 48, you know, and like I said, I can say that proudly because I look good. But I feel like men over 40 or men that are approaching that middle, you know, midlife crisis used to go buy a Corvette, date a younger woman.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, you're 40, you still have a lot left in the tank, you know, and I want to.
Or at least you should.
Right. And I want to relay that to guys that are 40. Like, hey, you know, bro, just because you're 40, you don't have to grow gracefully, you know. And you don't have to do it in a way where it's costly, like plastic surgeries and all this stuff. Like, so talk to John, talk to you, and I was like, hey man, like I'm heavy, I want to be better, I want to be healthy, I want an overall quality of life better. Yeah. And my lifestyle is one that's so, I wouldn't say turbulent, but it's forever changing. It's very dynamic. You know, I travel a lot. I'm in hotels. I'm eating a lot of fast food and hotel room services and stuff. Yeah. And so meeting you and having you help me has changed my life, from sleeping patterns, recovery, and just overall my appearance and how I feel and how my confidence has grown.
Yeah, which makes a big difference. I mean, I remember the first thing when you came in, you said it's about the men over 40. And I mean, I was 40 20 years ago. So, you know, turning 61 this year, no, not really. I'm joking. I'm 44. I'll be 45. But those of you that aren't watching, I've got people behind the camera. They're looking at me like, wait, what? What? But I just remember when you did come to me, I said, well, if we're going to do this, you've got to follow, you know, what my recommendation is, what it's going to be. I'm going to put you and have you do some specific peptides for very specific reasons. But that's just part of this. It's, it's the mindset, and you're big on that. I mean,
Right.
I still love it. Dude, we text each other almost daily with some sort of motivational, inspirational, whether it's scripture, whether it's something out of your book. I mean, that's part of this journey too. And it's not just doing it alone. And I think sometimes we really need to have the community within that. But I said, you're going to increase your protein intake. You're going to increase your hydration. You need to walk. You need to be in the gym. And you said, done. I'll do it. And it's interesting because we're sitting here, and as I'm listening to your talk, I'm reading your tattoo, failure is not an option.
Right.
And I think that's exactly what you embody, is that you push through no matter what, and the results are showing.
Yeah, the tattoo, you're right. I did get a tattoo that said failure not an option, and I was young. And again, like I said, I want to be 100% transparent. Like, I was working out, I just wasn't working out properly.
Yeah.
I was in the gym, but I wasn't getting the results, know, and a lot of people feel that way. You're going to the gym, you're working on hours, and you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you're just not feeling anything.
Yeah.
And so that's the cool thing about the peptides is, like, it's been 6 weeks and you can already see a change.
Yeah.
And so now with the change, it motivates you more because, and again, it's very addicting when you start getting a compliment or people telling you, hey, wow, you look good, what are you doing? It is addicting, you know? And look, I know men or whatever will say stuff or whatever, but I'll be very honest with you. Men like compliments too. You know, I love that. I love when I put a shirt on and it hugs my arm a certain way. And I love when people go, oh, you look like you work out. Yeah. Versus you telling people you work out. Again,
it's like the proof is in the pudding.
100%.
You're showing it, you're doing it.
100%.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, and I want people to understand too, like, yeah, we have all these little quips about failure is not an option, which I got that when I was young. I was in my 20s. Failure is inevitable. It's what you do when you fail.
We talked about this too. I said we fail forward.
100%.
We're going to have to make mistakes. We're going to have to do it wrong. I mean, in a sense, the route that led you to me
was failure. So if you're not failing, you're not succeeding.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like whatever, but like, through my mistakes, I've been able to progress to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep failing, but I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to keep failing forward. Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, like my physical is very much, but I'm not conveying to men just to the physical appearance, which is amazing, but I'm reading, I'm surrounding myself, and I love that you touched on it's a group. Like, men need to start helping men, and it's not being, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like, it's a group. It takes a village to raise a kid, but it also takes a village, and villages are important. I have you, which I can call and say, hey man, this is what I'm going through, because a lot of times we're all men, I feel, are suffering in silence with a lot of things. And these are things that can kill you. These are things that will cause you to overeat. Depression is real. Yeah. And that's why, like I said, I'm bold enough to put myself out there and say, hey, look at me, but just don't accept that. You don't have to accept this, get up and call somebody, reach out to somebody.
Do something.
Do something, even if it's wrong. Like if I'm trying to do something and it's wrong, I can fix that. But if I'm just sitting there not doing anything, nothing's going to happen to me. You have to be in some kind of motion to cause something. Yeah. So, like, if you go to the gym and you don't even know how to do the exercise, I guarantee you somebody's going to come and say, hey, this is not it. And then even if you don't know and you ask somebody, hey, man, how do I use this machine? People want to help. People want to show people things. So you just have to have an action, even if it's the wrong action. Yeah. You can correct that. But if you're inactive, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Sitting in a corner doesn't really get you anywhere, does it?
And I feel like I feel like we're built to be active and move around.
Yeah, I always say motion is life.
100%.
It is. It's motion of cellular communication, motion of our bodies, motion of, failure to success. It's in every aspect of life. You have to have some sort of movement because stagnation kills everything. I always say procrastination is the thief of health.
100%.
Because it is. If you wait and you wait and you wait, too many people wait until the heart attack, the stroke, the diabetes, whatever it may be, people are waiting to make a change. And I think that's what's wrong, honestly, with our overall healthcare system. It's a system based on just emergencies. Nothing is proactive. Nothing is preventative. And that's what I love so much even about the implementation of peptides. And so I want to dive into that because, man, we set you up on a program. I called it Reset and Rise.
100%.
And that's really what we need to do. You know, some people come in because they want to lose weight. But when they want to lose weight, I don't go directly always to like these GLPs and these peptides that people are like, oh, this is for weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. A lot of times our body has to reset. And if it resets, it can actually perform the functions that it needs to. And so sometimes it's other peptides that are implemented, sometimes with a GLP. We use a GLP-3, which is Retta, specifically for you. But I'd love for you to just, as we've gone through this, you've asked me questions here and there. In fact, I can go through. Actually, I've educated you enough that you understand and you know the program that you're on. So share a little bit about that, and then questions that you've had coming through while you're on your program.
So when we first started, I started doing an NAD, which I was familiar with. And NAD like helps you recover.
Yeah.
So you put me on that. I do NAD 3 times a week. I do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
And then I follow that up with AOD in the morning. And AOD, I think, is for mental, right? Mental.
Well, AOD is actually stands for anti-obesity. It's AOD 9604. That one specifically is for lipolysis. It's like fat breakdown.
That's why this is getting. That's why that. Yeah,
it's like it's
I still got
up
a little bit at the bottom, but I'm good. I'm okay
this
with
is what I tell people. So AOD, with a couple different peptides, some are going to work on visceral fat, which is like that internal fat that you have. That's like testosterone, which
I take that at
you're
night.
also on,
I do testosterone
which is
at
a
night.
growth hormone secreting hormone peptide. So that naturally pulses growth hormone within your system, helps with sleep, helps with recovery, helps with, there's no such thing actually as muscle tone. Crazy as that is, everybody talks about, I want muscle tone. Really no such thing as muscle tone. There's muscle density, there's how your muscle actually functions. So you don't want muscle wasting. That's the biggest thing. So, which is called sarcopenia. I can go too deep into that, but we're not going to. But we just want to prevent muscle wasting, but if we can also build it with, and the way it rebuilds, it's not like taking a growth hormone, a synthetic growth hormone. It is actually pulsing your body's natural ability to create hormones like growth hormone, and that sends out to the system. So it's like, I recognize this. I know what it is. It's my own. Let's do this. And so recovery, sleep, but back to AOD, it's lipolysis, it's fat breakdown. It's the outer fat breakdown.
Okay.
So I always tell people, like, if you've got like the fat on the hips, the belly in the front, the fat here, it's going to break that type of fat down. And then you have your visceral fat, that internal fat. That's where you're getting something from like Retta or GLP-3, testosterone. One of the benefits of that specific growth hormone secreting hormone peptide is that it addresses liver issues and also visceral fat, that internal fat that surrounds the organs.
BPC157.
And then BPC157 is a great one that you're also on for. That one is probably one of the most well-known peptides, honestly, in the world. It actually stands for body protection compound.
Okay.
It helps for like aches, pains in the joints. It helps with recovery in the joints. It's actually derived, and it was first found through gastric juices.
Okay.
So your intestinal juices, your body naturally produces this peptide, and then they can actually create a synthetic amino acid sequence, which is BPC157. So it does help with gut health. It helps with inflammation. It helps with increasing endothelial nitric oxide, so blood flow, getting things to where it needs to go. So that also then helps with recovery. So you can get those workouts in the gym, get back to it faster.
100%.
Yeah.
Samax.
Inositol Samax, yeah. So that's a nootropic peptide. So that is the brain, helping with those synapses, helping with better mental clarity, focus. And with your job, that's exactly what you need.
It's also with that, and then I will be honest with you guys, we're all in that world where we're all social media driven, so we're on that. So it's brought that focus where I can actually not be controlled and constantly scrolling, which I noticed. And then Mott C, but I'm off of Mott C because I did that for the first one. Now I'm on my.
We typically cycle that. So
right. So I'll start that mid-March.
Yep.
I'll start back on that one.
So mitochondrial foundation, that's what Mott C is. It helps with basically making sure that your mitochondria are the powerhouse of your cells, which controls and really helps. It's the fuel for everything. It's the fuel for every cell signal. It's the fuel for you to get up, to go. It helps to regulate insulin as well. So that does help a little bit with that fat loss, but it's like an energy peptide overall.
So let me see. NAD, MOTS-C, Semax, AOD.
And I think red is the.
That's the. I do that on Wednesday.
Yes, once a week.
I do that once a week, and then I do my tesamorelin and BP 517 at night.
Yeah.
So I do that. I will also say, previous companies that I was doing, I had bigger syringes. This is like just little short ones.
They're like insulin syringes.
Very short, painless. And then that like I said, is a simple thing, and it becomes your routine.
Yeah.
So, and I will tell you, I feel 100% better, and I know something. But if you miss a day, is when you know, oh, I didn't take this.
Right.
You know, which is funny. But then it's also a very subtle effect. Like I was just telling you when I came in, I'm like, man, I don't even crave sugar that much anymore.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, well, that's because you're on this. And like, it's crazy to me that food controlled me. Like, and I don't know what we're putting in food, but like I used to couldn't drive past a fast food restaurant because that was like, oh, now I can sit.
It's sugar.
I can sit at a restaurant with people eating and not eat.
Yeah.
Which was something that would have never happened before.
Yeah.
I was addicted to food, or I was addicted to the sugar.
You're addicted to the sugar, and I mean, we live in a society. Again, we talk about our healthcare system, but we live in a society where everybody's addicted to sugar. Sugar's in everything. I mean, sugar's actually more addictive than cocaine. People don't realize this.
Right.
In fact, if you really want to get into it, I mean, if you have cancer, everybody has cancer at some point. It's whether it's detectable or not. Cancer cells, and you can check this reference, but cancer cells, I think they carry like 6 times more receptors for sugar than anything else, like that fuel source. Okay. Sugar fuels it. So what helps regulate sugar in the body is like your insulin and your glucose and all these things. So insulin helps with that. Well, think about being on peptides that help to regulate your insulin levels so your sugar levels aren't spiking all the time, and then you're having these crashes of energy, and then you need something to refuel yourself, which is basically sugar, because that's what your body has been living on and storing on, and which is why I say increase your protein intake.
Right. Okay.
Healthy fats. I mean, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, every hormone in your body, your brain, they function off of healthy fats.
Right.
And so too many people, when they start on something like a GLP-1 or GLP-2 or GLP-3, they don't increase their protein intake. They don't increase their hydration. And so they're actually starving their bodies. And because of that, they look anorexic and they lose muscle tissue. And then they're in this spiral of, well, I mean, poor health, quite honestly.
100%.
So, yeah, it's crazy. But that's why you're not craving sugars, because your insulin is now regulated the way that it should be. And so you don't have that craving.
And here I thought it was all me. No, again.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do have superpowers like that too. You're like, my willpower is beyond.
No, like, so, and that's the other thing too. Like, I want people to understand, like, peptides work. Okay, before we go further, peptides work. If you take peptides and do nothing, you will lose weight, but you won't be healthy and you won't feel good.
That's a good point.
So,
great point.
You want to look at peptides as the assist.
Yeah.
So what it's going to do for you is it's going to give you that little voice that says, you know what, you don't have to do this. And it gives you a little bit of energy to say, you know what, I can sit at this dinner table and not eat everything. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of it is now, again, like I told you, I was controlled by food. I would drive by and see Whataburger and remember and be like, oh, a lot of times I forget, not that I want to say I forget to eat, because, you know, intermittent fasting, which you helped me with, I'm so set and regimented that I will eat at 2 to 2:30.
Yeah.
And my mind just says, I'm not eating that, you know, or, you know, I'll be like, hey, I'm doing too much work to ruin it by this. So again, and I want you to understand too, like, you can eat through this stuff. Like, if you really want to, you can, but that little voice in you and that little inner self goes, hey, I really don't need this, you know? And then I'm very cognizant of that too. And you told me that, like, I don't have to eat as much as we're eating. I feel like we overindulge, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, we're going to eat this because food is good.
Yeah.
And, but that's the part that I really appreciate with me is, you know, the control that this has given me back in my life, where I don't have to drive by, and I haven't had McDonald's and I don't know when. Like, no, the last time I had McDonald's was when I drove down to see you guys. That was the last time I had breakfast. I had breakfast burritos.
If I haven't done anything else for you, so just doing that, I've done my job.
Again, I have not had I haven't had fast food.
Yeah.
If I do get hungry where I'm not able to eat at 2 to 2:30, I don't get obsessive but I will be honest with you. You can tell where I'm like, when I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, but anybody
you get hangry?
I do. But like anybody that's ever been addicted to food understands what I'm saying. Is like it was so important to get a burger or some kind of anything that it was like you were looking for a fix.
Yeah.
With this, you don't do that anymore. You have control to say, you know what, I'll eat later. I'm busy. I don't need that. Or you can literally say, I don't need that. Like I'm a huge sugar addict, from candy bars to, I still chew gum, but that's me. But dude, it was nothing for me to go into a store and buying groceries. I would buy 4 or 5 candy bars. Oh. And I would eat jelly beans and taffy and stuff like that. And now I don't have those urges. So I'm very thankful for it. But I'm also, again, like I said, I feel 100% better. I wake up, I'm not as stiff. You know, I can push myself in the gym and, you know, I can do it again the next day. So, you know, my workouts are great, which you even dial that in, where I would go to the gym and work out for 2 or 3 hours. Of course, I'm a talker. And I'd be there doing all that. But like now I'm like, I'll go in, I hit my 2 body parts, hit them hard, and I'm out, you know, do my little exercise, and I do my walking, and I push myself like that. But it's once you start seeing the results and feel it, I promise you, that first compliment is so addicting. Yeah. You just push and you keep going, you know. Yeah. So, and I love it. Like,
well, it's when you start putting good things into your body, you just want to do it more, and you start to see those results. Sometimes I guess that's my question to you. Like, at what point when you started this? So we have 1,008 hours, 6 weeks, or 2.5 months.
No, 6 weeks, a month and a half.
6 weeks, a month and a half.
Right.
The 2 months was the thing that.
Yeah, Bryce did the 2 months.
Man,
Bryce wanted
dude, come on, he wanted 2 months.
To challenge me and not give me my flowers and make it longer. But yeah.
No, we're good. What was the first noticeable change that you had? Because you came to me, you're like, I want to look good. I want to lose, I want to lose fat. I want to be here. But I bet you that wasn't the first noticeable change that you had.
The first noticeable thing that I will say is, this is funny. So I had this big man purse in front of me. Like, this was like when my energy tank was, my man purse.
Your fuel pack?
Yeah, my jet rocket fuel. Well, my shirt was, because I was so big, and I know fat guys know this. Well, a shirt doesn't lay flat against your clothes, and you always had like that little piece exposed. Yeah. So you would feel that. And like, I noticed that went away, and I put a shirt on, and it wasn't all up and bunched, and this wasn't sticking out at the bottom, and I kept constantly pulling it down. And I noticed that, and I was like, oh shit. And then I did the whole little, okay. And then when I worked out, like I wear Nike Pro Fit stuff, and it was all, just big. And so it started like fitting flush. And then about 3 weeks in, and again, I told you when I did this, to be fair, I said, hey, I'm doing this for vanity and ego. Yeah. The byproduct was healthiness, a healthy life after that. So, you walk by a mirror and you're like, damn, that's me. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give it, so I'm not in the gym doing butt pics like most women, but I'm definitely in there like, okay, I see me, and then your clothes start fitting better. So then like I had like my sweats, I'm having to pull the string tighter, I'm putting the extra hole in the belt. So you can feel it. And then about week 4, I got that compliment that I'd been waiting for. Like, damn, what are you doing? You look good. And that was, once that happened, I was like, man, let me tell you. And so, but that's the thing too, is like, we'll lie. And like I said, and this is going to be funny. Have you ever met a woman with no breast? Well, she'll always say, I don't care about breasts. She's lying, okay? And that's the same way with men. I was big, and I would pretend like I was comfortable because I didn't care. Like, I love me. And that's what that fake, but that's a lie. You're lying to yourself to be okay with being not the best version of yourself. Yeah. And we do that. Like, oh man, we go buy a bigger shirt, or, especially if you're in a relationship, you're going to make excuses like, man, I'm busy and then my wife loves me, I got a wife. But guess what? Once you start losing weight, your wife wants you to look better. She doesn't want some 300-pound man climbing on top of her. So I say that to say this, like, guys, if you lose weight, it will change your life. Your wife might be willing to put out more. I mean, like I said, 300 pounds isn't climbing on top of her, or she's not trying to work around all this or whatever. So your confidence becomes back. You're depressed. Like, bro, I'm not lying to you. You flying on the airplane, I'm 320 pounds. People don't want to sit next to me, and then I'm sitting on the airplane uncomfortable, turning, because again, I'm very cognizant of how big I was, I'm like trying to make sure, and planes are small. So at some point, take the risk and stop lying to yourself. You don't like the way you look. Especially if you were an athlete and you did something, and now you're 40 with this dad bod and you're walking around and and I'm around a bunch of people with abs that look good, right?
Yeah.
So they take their shirts off and you're kind of like, and if people don't admit that, they're not being honest with themselves. Yeah. So
with when we started the program too, I mean, obviously noticing the the shirt not rising up. Tell me more about, you've talked about this a couple of times, in a sense, in the back of your mind, there's that depression side. There's that, I'm not who I know I can be.
You just start accepting it. For me, you lie to yourself and say, man, I love me or whatever. And again, I was blessed with the gift of conversation, and I would say overconfidence, because even though I did not look my best, I would still be like, hey, and of course I would wear you down to get whatever I wanted or whatever. So that was me. But I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you, you'd wake up in the morning and be like,
yeah.
I don't do that now. Man, and you've changed that. I'm up at 5:30 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm in the gym and I'm out.
Without the struggle.
Right, without the struggle. And again, when you start having those little successful moments, then you'll start changing your life. I'm reading more. So I read a lot at night, then I read in the morning. That's when I text you those passages where I'm like, man, I hope this helps Adam. Let me send this to him. I do my journaling.
Yeah.
So I'm not just talking about this physical, but the physical leads to the mental and everything. Yeah. Because once you start down that path of physically changing, you're like, man, what else can we do? So, and I was already a big reader before, so now I'm reading my daily Stoics, and then you start getting that kind of information. And then, again, I tell you about men's health. I'm in therapy, because there's a lot of shit that men deal with that we deal with, and we deal with it by ourselves, and it's just, I don't think it's fair. So once you start fixing your mental, right, so you can, because that was another thing too, you would see progress, but because you're so mentally broken upstairs, you don't see it.
Or you don't allow yourself to see it. That's the thing.
You don't even allow these wins to happen. Yeah. And so for men, definitely get therapy, read books, journal, and I think when you work on your physical, you'll thirst for doing the mental aspect of it too.
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean, our biology affects our psychology, but our psychology also affects our biology. It goes both ways. And I think if we're going into the side of men, and again, we're just talking through this, that doesn't mean everybody has to agree with us, but I truly think as men, and I know if you're a woman listening to this, we've talked a lot about men, but I mean, here's the thing. I think our physical appearance has a huge part of every aspect of what we have, what we do, from our, whether we're a CEO, whatever we do.
Everything.
I think that has the continuation, and sometimes it starts there. Now, I believe it should all start here, that psychological, but we have to get there at some points. If we've let ourselves go, we've got to come back to it. But when did you notice energy changes?
Energy changes came within the first week.
Wow.
I was like, okay, you can feel it. And then I did have one day where I was rushing out the house and I forgot my kit, and that weekend I didn't, and I knew I wasn't on it. That was I knew I was not taking my super serum. Yeah. But
you reached out to me. You're like, I don't have my stuff with me. Am I going to be okay? I'm like, yes, you'll be okay.
Yeah. And so, but then I came back. But again, like I said, Adam, I really am, man, on this journey because it means that much to me. And again, like I said, through trials and tribulations of my own that has almost broken me, I know I'm not the only person. Yeah. So I'm trying to, again, I'm talking about men. Women also take care of yourself as well. This is just not strictly for men. This is but I only can understand about being a man and being who I am and where I'm at, I feel like there's a lot of us struggling, and one, we can't talk about it, and then we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, you know, when you're around super alpha males like I am, man, it is a mental thing, you know, to be that guy. And you're lying to yourself if you say it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
Same thing with CEOs. If I go to a CEO and a guy puts a suit on and, okay, wow, he commands certain things, even though the fat guy in the corner might be the brains behind the outfit and doing all things, you're going to naturally gravitate to that person, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
So is it right? I don't know, but I'm just telling you, like, make the decision now to start working on everything about that, and I promise you won't regret it.
Yeah. And I'm just glad that we have this follow-up, honestly. I mean, your progression so far has been, it's been incredible, quite honestly. And honestly, kind of to close this out, what I think is incredible is I have asked you multiple times, well, what's your weight? How much have you lost? And your comment to me so far has been like, I don't know. I haven't even hopped on a scale. Because ultimately, it's not about what that scale reads. It's not about going from, 320 pounds to 285 or whatever it may be, or 285 down to 250, because the scale doesn't matter. It's what's happening up here. You can feel the difference. You can see the difference. You can sense the difference. And so, and I think that's an encouragement, I think, for a lot of people is don't just trust the scale, because the thing is, you're also in the gym. So you're losing fat and gaining muscle. And a lot of times, if you're just relying on a scale to tell you your progression and your success, you're probably going to fail most of the time.
And again, to elaborate on that, my years as a paramedic, we was always taught, treat the person, not the machine.
Yeah.
Because, the machine can be reading this, and I could be talking to a very cognizant person, like take people that are diabetics. I've been on people that sugar was at 30, and the person's talking to me.
Yeah.
But treat the person, not the machine. So I have not stepped on a scale, but I know I feel good. I feel great. My energy's up. I mean, like even here, I was up at 3:00 this morning, drove to the airport, jumped on a plane. I'm going to leave here, go there. And
you're moving.
Dude, I'm keeping up with 20-year-olds. And I feel like, there's no slowdown in me. So if for no other reason, man, do it and see what happens. I mean, give yourself a couple of months and you will see the results. And it's not, you don't have to go as hard as me, but if you just do it and start, I promise
Consistency.
If you start this journey, you will pick up steam and you'll love it.
Yeah, and I am going to say, make sure that if you are starting like this peptide journey, and you said this before earlier on, and I loved it because you said it's a tool in the tool belt. It is not the magic bullet. Peptides are not that thing, but make sure that you have guidance as you're moving through it. Make sure that you have the right provider, the practitioner, the person that is helping you and directing you through that system, because if you're not, you can make mistakes.
No, 100%. And I will tell you, and you've schooled me on it, the peptide industry is blowing up. All right. And I want you guys to understand that too. Do not just be doing any peptides. If you cannot sit down with a person that can explain to you what is going on, you don't need that person, because you're going to run into a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, just take this. And they don't even know how much to take. And like I said, I'm not telling you that it's dangerous, and we'll get into that. I'm just telling you, you wouldn't just buy a car from anybody. You wouldn't just you wouldn't just jump on an airplane and let anybody fly it. Yeah. So be very conscious of these peptides you're getting, because they're not all the same, and they're not all companies are not built the same. You're very good. You do your due diligence about the product that I'm getting. You know where it's come from. You're much in control of it, and you know a lot about it. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of people just say, hey, take this, you'll lose 50 pounds. Yeah. So
that's living in the danger zone a little bit.
You don't want to do that. You want to be able to have someone, and I fell for that. I've had people say, oh, take this. And you're like, I don't even know what I'm shooting my body with, But I was so happy that I saw results. I couldn't even tell you what I was taking. Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure you get a provider that you trust. And the way you can do that is, one, anybody that can talk to you about peptides in depth like you, I can say knows what they're doing. Yeah. Anybody that comes to me and goes, oh, just take this. I think this is what they're taking. Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Or if they say, if you buy 2, I'll give you 1 for free.
Yeah, and that's another good thing too. Like, more is not always better.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in here and then buy this vial and get. No, and I mean, I'm not talking about countries. I'm not talking about this, but I'm just telling you, do your due diligence before you start, because that also, you don't want to do this and then not get the results, because there's a lot of stuff out there that looks like what you're supposed to be taking that's actually just normal saline.
Yeah.
You know, what are the concentrations, not what the concentrations are supposed to be.
Right.
So that's another thing I would tell people moving forward. Do your due diligence before you just start stabbing needles into your abdomen or to your stomach.
Yeah. It's going into your body. You kind of want to know what it is. And you want to be guided. I mean, I would say the greatest athletes in this world all had coaches.
Yeah. 100%.
They didn't just do it on their own.
100%.
So think of that provider, that practitioner, that coach as the one that's helping guide you through the success that you ultimately want. And that's what we're doing. So, Brad, man, thank you for coming back on. Thank you for doing this. And I'm excited for the next series where there will be less of you once again.
Yeah, that's probably April. I'll be in Miami in April, so I will probably come up and do another one in April.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome,
I'm excited for that. I might take
you.
my shirt off, do an episode with my shirt off. So
Well, that's funny, because half the time between our episodes, I have my shirt off, I'm changing, and then my whole team teases me about that. They're like, put a shirt on.
Get
like,
your
sorry,
peptide guy that looks like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
The transporter never fails you.
I'm here to help. Help transport your health from point A to point B, or to Z if you need it. So that's what we're here for.
100%.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for listening, Brad. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yep.